Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Live from iRacing's virtual Eldora Speedway in New Weston, Ohio. Welcome, sim racing fans, to round number 6, excuse me, of the Apex Racing League Truck Series live on Apex Racing TV. Happy to have all of you with us here tonight, live from the wild card race of the season from virtual Eldora. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside with me in the commentary booth is Austin Knight with Marco Barbanera down in the virtual production trailer. Austin, we go from Auto Club Speedway, a 2-mile, almost flat out super speedway almost, to a less than half-mile dirt track. I don't think we could go to the 2 extremes more than we have from round 5 to round 6.
It certainly is. It's time to pitch the trucks left, toss a little dirt, and get a little bit dirty here at Eldora. And you said it, extreme differences here, and let me tell you, it is a very extreme difference, and I'm loving it from start to finish. Andrew Navarro certainly loving it as well. Still leading up the championship ahead of Norbert Leitner, and Bradley Wilson finishes out the top 3. Josh, these 3 drivers from Auto Club were just all over the place, but those closing laps are very close for the championship.
Definitely. And 1 week ago at Auto Club, where we saw some amazing racing. But as you can see now, Kevin Kittleman holding that AM top spot for those point standings. Shane Dunn in second. Kev Copeland trying to close that gap. And then 2 Kairos Competitions cars of Dane Baird and Mark Transfer rounding out the top 5. Both of them running close together. But Dane Baird saying pre-race that he needs a good race here, needs a lot of luck to get some good results from virtual Eldora. So those are your championship standings. Trucks on the track now for qualifying. 10 minutes, 4 laps that these drivers will have. And the challenges of this racetrack, Austin, well, I think it's pretty obvious. The main challenge of it being dirt. But you can see Max Wolf in the 18 completely sliding that truck. Normally, if you're turning right on an oval, something is going horribly wrong. But here, if you're turning right, something's going horribly right.
Yeah, as Doc Hudson once said, you gotta turn right to go left, and that's what these drivers are going to do. If you're turning left to go left, something is obviously wrong, or you're trying to dip it into the pits, and you're trying to dip it into the pits here, something is definitely wrong, though I believe there is possibility for a pit stop for these drivers, though it is not looking like it could be. And yes, there are heats in this race where it's dirt track style, and taking a look at qualifying, clean track for qualifying, then this track is going to get progressively worse. You see Dane Baird using all the track. He's already hit the wall, and he spun it. Nice job, Dane.
He spins it out, but still going to go up to P14 in that number 36. Oh, yeah, he definitely slammed the wall, and that is not going to be good. But I think it's safe to say, Austin, like a short track, you get damage here on Eldora. You're not going to be affected too much. This is not an aerodynamic reliant track. So you can bang that wall a couple of times. You can bang into other cars. As long as you don't get high engine or high oil or water temps, you'll be just fine with a bit of damage to your truck.
Yeah, track is not going to help you a lot with cooling down your truck. So going to be expecting these drivers to be running a little bit conservatively if they do have a little bit of damage and they're noticing their temperatures a little bit high. But adapting to the track is what they're going to do. Even if that means beating the truck into the wall, that also might help. So same strategy is not out the window completely.
On board with Fraser Smith in the 67. Take this opportunity as they continue to work their way down in qualifying to go over the format for the heats today. We'll have 15 lap heats, 2 of them to be exact, or 3 of them, excuse me, depending on the field size. We might go down to 2, but we'll see what happens here. We'll take the top 11 from each of those heats to go on to the feature. No consolation, no last chance qualifier, so it is the heats, and if you don't get into the feature off of them, you are over and done. But looks like with the amount of trucks that we have starting, everybody will make the feature. The heats are just going to decide where they will end up starting in that feature race. The warm-up will be 5 minutes after heat number 3, then we'll go racing 70 laps in the feature race tonight. And also, that's a bit of a marathon when it comes to Eldora. Of course, those lap times are going to tick off pretty quick because we're running about 20 seconds on average per lap here. So it's not going to be a long race, but it's going to feel like a lot because they're going to be constantly fighting those trucks on each lap.
Oh, for these drivers, it's going to feel like an entire day at the gym. These trucks love pitching left, then suddenly pitching right, and you're going to be fighting with everybody around you. And if you got your force feedback up, I'd be turning it down. And I know some of these drivers are on direct drives as well, and if you've ever experienced a direct drive full-on force with those things, oh my goodness. I know some of these drivers are going to be racing with gloves. I feel like they might be wearing 2 pairs of gloves this time because of the force going into that wheel. But other than that, it may also be long if there's a caution, because cautions are enabled here. And you know, if these trucks spins, the yellow flag is going to have to come out, collect a few trucks right there. So it's going to be a race of attrition and a race of physical strength in a sim. Yes, I know it's a sim, but
Austin, I think it's safe to say also these drivers are going to be theoretically swatting bees in the cab, moving those wheels from left to right as much as they possibly can. And what a lap from Alessandro Dalladone in the 61, 19.44 on the lap time. He'll move up into P3 in the number 61 for Kairos competition Let's see what he can do as he hugs that inside wall, tries to go up the
Oh,
track, but he's
no.
gonna spin it out coming across the line.
Well, too much mustard is something I like to say, and that's what Alessandro does. And, you know, this is a tradition of Alessandro. He's going to finish this out lap in reverse. So we look at Neil Butler right now, coming across the line, way up to the wall, just giving it a little kiss. And, you know, the more this race is going to run, the higher you want to run it right there. That's where you go to the cushion, just not too high, or else you're going to be hitting the wall. If you hit the wall, it's going to look like that.
I was getting a little bit too low under the racetrack to hit the wall there on the back
Well, he
straightaway.
went too high, he hit the wall, then it came down low.
There you go, there you go. So Butler going to send it back into the corner. Looks like he's getting some extra qualifying laps. Now we're going to see this racetrack develop over the course of the heats, the warm-up, and the feature. We will have a track reset to 0%, which is pretty much what we're seeing here. Sam Fitzpatrick gets very loose down the back straightaway. But we'll see that track get reset, and as it works in, you're going to see the rubber start to get laid down, and that is going to become incredibly slick for these drivers. So right now, this is undoubtedly, Austin, the most grip they're going to get on this racetrack at 0%.
Yeah, most grip is going to be 0%. Then the warm-up, if there is a warm-up, will be on there, and the heat races. So, you know, some of these drivers during qualifying might play a little... Like, after their laps, after their qualifying laps, they know that they've done the best. They're probably going to run a line that's really going to hurt some other drivers that try to form a cushion already and just try to get a feel for the track. And, you know, these laps that they're running right now is wearing down the track right here. And I can already tell you there's a little bit of cushion at the very top of the track from drivers constantly running up there.
Track already starting to go through some changes as we go south of roughly about 2 minutes remaining here in qualifying, as most of the drivers already laid down a time. They're just taking some extra practice laps out here. Same thing with Sam Fitzpatrick. We're still seeing him struggling a bit to keep that truck straight as he works his way through the corners. Same thing with Neil Butler here in his Chevy Silverado for Full Send Racing. Down into the corner he goes, experimenting, running close up to that wall, fighting that truck through the corner. A little bit too much rotation on the exit, but he's able to hold on.
It's all about trial and error at these times. You got to find a groove, then you got to constantly run with that groove, and you know, hopefully it all works out for you, because during the race you are going to have to adapt to the track right there, but once you find that groove, it's just small adjustments and everything.
So about 1 minute now remaining here in qualifying for these drivers to get their last minute lap times in. Everybody has completed their 4 laps of qualifying. Just some extra laps being taken by Fitzpatrick and Butler as we get ready to take the green flag here for heat number 1. Expecting a 2-heat split here, Austin. So if we get that, we're going to see 10 cars in one heat and 11 in the next, which is not a ton of cars, but compared to the 21 we are going to see in the feature, we're going to cut that in half for each of these heats, which is going to be the first challenge for these drivers in a full-fledged field on this track. But definitely the spray, the kick up from the dirt, and all the traffic is going to be much different for the drivers starting in the back of the feature tonight.
It really is, and I can tell you, dirt racing is absolute beautiful to watch, and it's going to be, well, yeah, it's just, this is a race that you really can't prepare yourself mentally for. Either watching it as a fan, well, I can tell you how most people prepare for a race as a fan. It involves a lot of drinking, a lot of cheering. But as a driver, oh, it's a complete different mindset, and qualifying's over, and it's time to head out onto the grid for heat number 1 of 2 at Eldora.
It'll be Max Wolf starting on the pole for Evo SR. Alessandro Dalladone to his outside for Cairo's competition. It's Full Send Racing and Lunatic Racing on row 2 with Fraser Smith and Andrew Navarro. Dan Parmalee going to round out that top 5 with Neil Butler in 6. 2 Full Send Racing drivers there in the first 3 rows. Shane Dunn, Dane Baird on that 4th row. Mark Tranter, Sam Fitzpatrick on that 5th row, rounding out the top 10. And Alex Rogenbuck is going to round out the 11 drivers looking going to take the green flag here in heat number 1. 3 names from Apex Racing TV going to be making a start here in heat number 1, and the dominant force of Andrew Navarro also making an appearance there on row 2. Austin.
Yeah, Andrew Navarro not starting on the front row, and you know, if we were going by iRating at this point, his dirt oval iRating is higher than anyone else's. So Andrew Navarro a clear favorite right now, but that qualifying, it might not be favorite to him in this track and on this car, but he is rated the highest out of everybody's dirt rating. But the highest safety rated driver in dirt is actually Alex Rockenbuck, sitting in 11th. So if this turns into a attrition race, watch for that 70 to make his way up there.
As the field rolls off, we'll take 2 pace laps around the virtual Eldora Speedway. Of course, with it being just a little bit under a half mile in length. We go on board with Alessandro Dalladone, and starting on the outside of the front row, depending on if Max Wolf gets a good start here on the start of this first heat race, we could see Alessandro Dalladone actually be in the best seat for that lead going onto the back straightaway using the outside line through turns 1 and 2. Ready to go for heat number 1 as we take a look back at Dane Baird. He has a lot of traffic in front of him. Remember, we are not going to eliminate anybody here from the heat. Everybody will move into the feature. This is determining who will start on that inside line in the feature race. The iRacing official pace truck pulling down into the safety of pit lane. We're getting ready to go racing for heat number 2. It's Max Wolf in control of the field. He hits the lap pedal. We're underway. Diving into 1. Navarro's already loose on row 2.
Navarro tried to get a good jump off to the inside, but he drove straight into Smith, who is down there. And as you can see, Alessandro Dalladone getting right behind Max Wolf as we're going to slip and slide up and a bang, and Navarro around the outside of Smith in that 67. Navarro down to the inside of the 61 of Dalladone. He's using that dirt track prowess going all the way to the wall, and Dalladone's in the wall on the outside.
Long scrape against that wall coming through turns 1 and 2. Navarro will get by. Now will Fraser Smith be able to get by? Down to the inside for P3 goes Smith in the 67. He'll pull up even side by side as they go back into 1. 12 laps to go, excuse me, make that 13 laps to go here in heat number 1. Driver still fighting from the back. Dane Baird trying to fight. He lost a spot to Mark Tranter off the start of this heat race. Dalladone still stuck on the outside as Wolf tries to run away. Navarro looking to catch up.
Dalladone playing the long game, using that outside line momentum and trying to wait for the track to come to him instead of going to where the track grip is right now. You know, it's a fresh track right there, but you're going to start looking at that track, start seeing a few lines starting to be formed, and that blue groove start to form up. Usually in an off-road road course situation, that's where you want to be, but in an oval situation, you want to avoid the track being worn in right there because it's just not a lot of grip. You're going to have to slow down for it because the tires will not like you right there. They want that soft, wet dirt you want to run on.
Back off the corner, Tranter working the bottom of Shane Dunn as he tries to go down right to that inside wall. Look at Dane Baird with the run on the outside.
Dang.
36 goes right to the outside of Mark Tranter, trying to complete that pass as we see a pass trying to be completed by Dalladone on Andrew Navarro. Baird able to get by Tranter. Now can he put his efforts towards the 49 of Shane Dunn? Loose up on that outside line, but loose on the inside is Tranter. He has to get out of the gas. He's going to fall down to P10, and Baird is going to get by Shane Dunn for the moment in P7.
Dane Baird is making moves left, right, and center, and making absolute butter out of this track. And he's the leading AM driver right here as he made that move on Shane Dunn. He's looking to have his eyes affixed on the 15 of Butler as he ride on the back of Max Wolf. Looking back at Andrew Navarro, who just put the fastest lap of the race. And just look how much ground Navarro is gaining up there. He just pitches that car in and it stays at the same angle. It looks like he's living on this dirt track.
Fastest lap last time by for Andrew Navarro, 19.23. What will it be at the line? It's a 19.44. He's still 2/10 faster than your current race leader, Max Wolf. They fight off at turn 2, 6 laps to go. They might be coming up on the lap machine of Alex Rogenbuck here in a moment as Navarro goes right up to the cushion, trying to put that rear right tire right on.
Here he goes.
He'll make a dive to the inside. Wolf's not going to be able to defend it too much. He'll slide back up to the outside line. Doesn't need to defend. It'll be Navarro staying in P2.
Navarro able to defend for the slide job, staying up there in that cushion. And Wolf had to defend for that slide job and being able to stay up there in the cushion as Navarro dived down there. But we got a slow car right ahead. I believe that's Rogenbuck staying down low as these two stay up high right here in that cushion. You can see that dark patch of dirt right there on the outside. That's where you want your tires to be because the rest of the track absolutely already picked dry by most of these drivers. The rest of today is going to be an absolute slobberfest. Speaking of slobberfest, Navarro into the wall.
Lost that race truck, still trying to gather it up as he dives back into turn 3. 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. Deladone still trying to chase him down, but it's Parmalee that is doing an amazing job to hold off Fraser Smith in the 67. Smith started up in P3, lost 2 positions to Deladone and Parmalee. Now trying to get back by around at least the 71 machine. As they come back to the stripe, the white flag is out. One final lap in heat number 1. Smith's gonna clobber the wall, but into turn number 1, Max Wolf doing an amazing job to lead every single lap here in heat number 1. Navarro falls off. He's too far back to make a run in 3. And off of turn 4, it's Max Wolf in the 18. Gonna take the win in heat 1.
Oh, Deladone clipped the wall on the inside trying to make a last chance dive on Navarro, and he almost lost that spot to Dan right there. As everybody else coming across the line, checker flag waves for heat number 1, and we somehow got through that without a single caution.
We heard pre-race from Dane Baird that he thought it was going to be very little green flag laps, but we just went all 15 in heat number 1. We'll have to wait and see if we go all 15 in heat number 2 as well. We are not going to jinx a single thing here in the broadcast booth. Max Wolf takes the win here in heat number 1. Andrew Navarro in second. It's Deladone, Parmalee, and Smith the top 5. Butler, Baird, Trancer, Fitzpatrick, Dunn, Rogenbuck, the 11 cars who took the green flag in heat 1. We have 10 for heat 2. Once again, all of these drivers will be moving on into the feature race here tonight from Eldora. This will determine the outside line starting grid. Andrew Roos, the fastest in this heat off of qualifying for wannabe sim racing team. Lunatic Racing to his outside with Bradley Wilson behind the wheel. Jason Nethery, Norbert Leitner on row 2. Lockie Brown with Mark Redford on row 3. Victor Lewandowski, Kev Copeland, those first 4 rows, and then Kevin Kittleman and Fernando Torres rounding out the 5 rows. 10 trucks ready to take the green flag. More AM drivers in this field than in heat number 1. Austin definitely going to provide a bit of different racing than what we saw in the first heat of the night.
It really is, and you know, champion 2 of our 3 championship drivers are in this race, Leitner and Wilson. And so they will be battling with each other, but hey, they're starting to nose to tail with each other, and we might see a little bit of tactics being played. Give one a little bit of a worse start, maybe, and because hey, all these will be on the outside row, on the outside row in the final. So if they finished right here, Roos will be on the front row. Then it's a few rows back for Leitner starting back in row 4. But Wilson, he's been practicing on the dirt. Green flag, let's let it fly.
Roos is going to dive into turn number 1, already going to take the lead. Wilson going to have to settle for second off of the start. He runs the cushion. Take a look at the run from the 51 of Bradley Wilson. He's going to blow by Andrew Roos on that inside line. The outside line proving to be the dominant place to be here at Virtual Eldora, and it's Wilson who leads at the line for lap 1.
Wilson knew the track was already worn. That bottom line's not where you want to be. That outside line has all the grip in the world with that cushion and the track already being worn out. And you can see the track surface already being batted down to a just massive stripe on the ground being torn up right there. That's how much they've been running that line, and that's how much this track has already been run. That outside line is going to be nearly unbeatable unless you get a monstrous run and diving down to the inside, but it's Wilson, Roos, Leitner, Redford, Pros, then the Amps, Nethery, Brown, Copeland, Lewandowski, Kittleman, and Torres.
So now Roos trying to hold on to P2. Leitner trying to get that spot. We go on board back further in the pack with Jason Nethery as Mark Redford, winner from 1 week ago at Auto Club, trying to cover off that spot. Nethery dives back to the inside as the battle for second continues. It's Leitner on the outside of his teammate Andrew Roos. They dive into turn one. Leitner trying to use that cushion, use that outside line to make the pass. That's exactly what he's going to do. Roos going to go back to P3. Redford now in fourth. Nethery going to settle for fifth as Lewandowski goes side by side with Kev Copeland. Copeland trying to make a pass on the bottom, and it looks like he's going to power by Lewandowski. No, he won't. Can't get the slide.
Can't get the slide and can't get the block, but now we got two lines being formed here. We got a cushion being formed on the inside of the track. We got a cushion on the outside of the track in turn one.
Back into the corner, on board with Kev Copeland for Evo SR Orange. Still trying to get by the 27. You can see that run on the bottom of the racetrack. Not nearly enough to defeat the run that is coming from the outside line. It looks like, Austin, you're able to make a move down on the bottom of the racetrack going into the corner, but you need to slide up to the outside by the end of the corner or else you're not going to make that pass.
Yeah, you're going to have to get your bumper a little bit into that grill. You're going to have to be right up on him going into that corner. You're going to have to send it down there to make that slide job work. It's a very complicated science. I know some people say spinning is a science. Well, this one, you're going to have to literally slide your car and just parallel park it right in front of the other guy who's going to bump you so you stay at speed so they don't overtake you on the straight going into the next corner.
On board, Kevin Kittleman now trying to fight to get P number 8 away from Kev Copeland.
Kev just needs to run on the outside. Kev just needs to be running on the outside. There's no way you can follow behind a car running on the low side and try to make that overtake right there. Look at the battle for second. Leitner's in the wall right in front of his teammate. And are we going to see teammate on teammate battle? Yes, we are. Leitner, compromise entry. Here comes his teammate down to the inside, but Leitner with the momentum able to carry it out on the outside.
5 to go. Time running out for Andrew Roos to get that second spot. He's going to surrender it for now. Leitner going to keep the spot. Here's Kevin Kittleman with a crossover. Side by side with Kev Copeland.
Oh, no!
And around they both go. Kittleman, Copeland around on the back straight away. Huge damage for the 11. Minor damage for the 35 compared to Kittleman's damage there in the 11 truck. No caution. We stay green. 3 to go at the line as Bradley Wilson taps the wall.
Wilson has been unbeatable since the green flag has dropped. Stayed on the outside and hasn't left it at all. He knows where the speed is on this track, and he knows how to drive the truck on this track. And, you know, looking at his iRating, doesn't surprise me. He is the best dirt track driver in the field just based off the iRating. But, you know, not the best dirt driver in the session. That first session looked like it had a little bit more higher strength of field compared to this one.
Blue's going to go back down to the bottom on Leitner as they come across the line this time. White flag is out for Lunatic Racing's Bradley Wilson. Looking to walk away with the heat number 2 victory. Top 4 all pro drivers. The rest of the field all AM drivers. Back to P10 that currently sits Fernando Torres, who sits in the pit lane. But across the start finish line as he rides the wall one more time in 3, it's Bradley Wilson.
Oh, hello.
And pushes Fernando Torres out of the way at the line. It's Leitner in second, Roos, Redford, Nethery the top 5.
I don't think you knew Torres was there until he crossed the line. Gavin Kittleman coming across the line in 8th place. And yeah, good race overall for these guys. We had a few good drivers jump up. Andrew Roos and Jason Nethery were struggling out there. They dropped 2 spots. But everybody else, oh man, it is going to be a good finale here at Eldora.
And that'll be coming up after this short break. You're tuning into coverage of the Apex Racing League Truck Series from iRacing's virtual Eldora Speedway. It's feature time when we return. Welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Racing League Truck Series from iRacing's virtual Eldora Speedway. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth alongside Austin Knight with Marco Barbonera down in the virtual production trailer. Heat 2 just wrapping up. Here are those finishing results as Bradley Wilson was able to take the win. Norbert Leitner in second. It's Andrew Roos in third. Mark Redford, Jason Nethery that top five with Lockie Brown, Kev Copeland, Kevin Kittleman, Fernando Torres, and Victor Lewandowski rounding out the top 10 and the 10 drivers who took the green flag there in heat number 2. Ready to go racing in the feature. Warm-up continues, only about a minute 50 left, but Austin, based off what we saw in those heat races, we ran a total combined of 30 laps in those heats, 15 in each. Now we're going up to 70 laps, and we saw that track start to develop towards the middle to end of heat number 2. It is going to be on a completely different level as we double the amount of cars on track and over double the amount of laps.
Yeah, this track is going to wear out. It's already, you can already tell the line being formed because this track will not reset. And all these drivers driving right here will contribute to the track, but, you know, it's been clean so far, and I believe we should be trying to keep it that way. But, hey, 22 cars on a half-a-mile track, something might go wrong.
I believe in racing, it is definitely always something can and will go wrong. We're going to see what happens here in the feature race. But, Austin, this could also have a good bit of implications towards the point standings because we're seeing Max Wolf have some speed. We're seeing Andrew Navarro with speed. Of course, seeing Bradley Wilson with speed, Norbert Leitner as well. But I think Max Wolf could throw a pretty big wrench into the points fight at the top right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Max Wolf, you know, wasn't doing the best on the regular tracks, but coming into dirt, he's been on another level and uncatchable by Navarro. And Navarro, he's got great speed up here, but, you know, he's I think he was just a little bit too incident prone in that first race. We saw him get a little bit too aggressive and get himself into the wall, fall down to third, and then just barely make up a little spot at the end. But Max Wolf and Andrew Navarro and Bradley Wilson are like the top 3 favorites right now of this race.
warm-up is completed. We have been through qualifying. Heat 1, Heat 2, now the warm-up. It's time to take a look at the starting grid for the feature race tonight. It's Max Wolf starting on the pole after a Heat 1 victory. Bradley Wilson to his outside after his Heat 2 victory. Heat number 1 runner-up Andrew Navarro. Heat number 2 runner-up Norbert Leitner share that second row with Alessandro Dalladone and Andrew Roos on row 3. Dan Parmalee, Mark Redford row 4. It's Fraser Smith, Jason Nethery rounding out the top 10 spots with Neil Butler and Lucky Brown on row 6. And down to complete the field, it's Dane Baird, Kev Copeland on row 7. Mark Transfer rounding out the top 15 with Kevin Kittleman to his outside. Sam Fitzpatrick, Fernando Torres, Shane Dunn, Victor Lewandowski, and Alex Rogenbuck rounding out the 21 drivers looking to take the green flag here from Eldora. Austin, a relatively fresh track now off of the warm-up, and as we get ready for the feature, that track is going to slick off roughly after about 20 to 25 laps. It's going to be a real test of who can prevail on that slick, worn-up racetrack.
Yeah, track is a little bit up to date now, but it's time to get ready to kick some, light the fires, kick the tires, and kick some rocks, if you know what I mean.
I'm just going to assume everybody knows what you mean off of that, Austin.
Yeah, dirt rocks. Dirt clumped up together.
Oh, we get ready to go racing now. Wolf in the lead with Bradley Wilson, who is outside. Now, you might notice off of the starting grid, everybody on the inside is exactly the results from heat number 1. Everybody on the outside is exactly the results from heat number 2. And that is exactly how they'll line up for this initial start. We've been to the high banks of Daytona. We have been to the road course of Watkins Glen, the intermediate of Charlotte, the short track of Martinsville, and the high-speed speedway of Auto Club. But now we take the Apex Racing League Truck Series onto the dirt of virtual Eldora. Pace truck is down and away. Showtime from New Weston, Ohio. Let's go racing in the feature.
And away they go to already Maxwell defending onto the inside. Navarro jumping into the middle of the track, and on the outside, well, we got contact. Navarro and Leitner make contact as it's Wilson and Wolf side by side heading into turn 2. They're still side by side. On board for Andrew Roos has got a nice show ahead of him. First caution of the day is out, and that is Dane Baird. Oh, Dane, no.
That is a tore-up race truck for Dane Baird. What happened here?
Oh, they went up the
Copeland. Contact with the 24 as well there, Austin, of Lucky Brown.
Yeah, very rough start. Dane was just coming up the track, and they were just going 3 wide at the moment. Made it 4 wide, and ooh. Now this track is really wide, but there's still opportunity just to get into somebody. And well, Dane was talking to us about the no green flag laps, and well, I feel like he was telling us that he felt like that was going to be. But I could tell you that a few of these drivers might be spamming hashtag blame Dane in chat right now.
We already see a hashtag blame Dane from our producer Marco Barbonera in our broadcast chat, but now working under the caution. Now, caution laps do count here, unlike a lot of dirt racing that you'll see across the iRacing service where caution laps do not count. Caution laps here will count, and they will also be relatively short cautions with it being a dirt track. No live pit stops to my knowledge. So everybody not coming into the pit lane. It goes very quickly to 2 to go, then very quickly to 1 to go. We're already getting ready to go back to green. On to lap number 5 of 70 here this afternoon in virtual Eldora. Still Max Wolf at the front. Still Bradley Wilson in second. Still Andrew Navarro there in third. Albeit those trucks now a little bit banged up as we retake the green flag. Wolf already to the outside. Going to try and protect that spot from Wilson. Navarro going to make a send to the bottom looking for the lead. Not going to be able to stick. Wilson into the wall. Navarro going to slide in behind his Lunatic Racing teammate on the top of the line.
Here we go, Wolf with a great defense, and oh, Navarro comes up and he's turned around engine Navarro, who gets collected by 1, 2, 3 cars, and Navarro's engine might be blown right there. Navarro, championship leader, gets turned by Leitner, and he is dropped all the way down the field, and we've got a parking lot, and Navarro gets towed to the pit lane, and that restart couldn't have gone worse for Andrew Navarro.
Taking a look at the replay, championship implications for Andrew Navarro. He came into this race, Austin, in first, only by 12 points. And if Norbert Leitner continues the positive run that he's on today, that could be a change at the top of the standings.
Norbert's coming up the track, pulls a slide job straight into the bottom quarter panel of Navarro collected by the 16. And I feel like that's when his engine just went pop. Other drivers' engines went there, and I feel like Navarro, if he continued on, his engine would have gone, so he towed in to the pit lane to save his car at least. He does have a fast repair, but that tow is really going to hurt him. And you can see, the avoidance maneuvers right there.
So second caution coming out of the day. And that moves Andrew Navarro down into the final spot. So unfortunate for Navarro. And we're going to continue now under caution, but this is going to change the entire outcome of this race.
Look at the damage on Wilson's car. Wilson's got a lot of damage too, but yeah, championship implications right now. If the race finished right now, we will have a new championship leader. And, Mark Tranter is hosting barbecue for anyone down in the infield right now. Free steaks, smoked barbecue. As we're back to green. And Leitner with a good jump, and Wilson goes into the wall. Leitner pulls out the slide job. Now he's got Daldone on his inside. Daldone looking for the slide job on Bradley Wilson. And Norbert Leitner is not going to be there, but Daldone could get a nose up on Wilson. Wilson, though, big struggle, and another yellow is out. Who is that going to be on? It looks like, I am not sure who was the cause of that yellow. I see Bradley Wilson's back on track now, but here comes Mark after getting a few. Did you just park it on the bottom of the track? Don't tell me that was the cause of the yellow. Mark. No. He stopped it coming out of the pit road. Stopped it right at the pit road exit. Crossed over the line. And that brought out the yellow. You gotta love iRacing's automated pace car at times.
You certainly do, Austin, as I think we have lost Joshua for a bit, so if you don't mind, until he comes back, I'll keep you company. Is that a deal?
Oh, it's a deal. You know, the iRacing, the Apex Racing TV OG Rednecks in the booth, a Texan and an Italian.
Absolutely. Well, chaotic start, to say the least, after, I have to say, to completely clean heat races, apart from a crash at the very end of the second one, as we get the lucky dogs going around. But, you know, double the size of the grid, and of course a lot more dirt being kicked up. And let's face it, this is the first time that these drivers are probably racing, or a lot of these drivers are racing against such a big number of opponents in a situation like this on a dirt track. So certainly not an easy place to be for a lot of these quote-unquote dirt racing rookies.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight race indeed. Pace cars off. Max Wolf is already away. Leitner on the outside, then Bradley Wilson, then Alessandro Daldone on the outside as well. Andrew Roos. Daldone looking down to the inside of Leitner, getting caught up right there. Wilson into the side of Leitner. Daldone able to pass through. It is 3 wide on the back straight with Roos. Daldone and Wilson. Wilson up into the wall. He's touching the wall right there. Leitner gets into the side of the 15 of Butler as they're coming out turn 4. Look at the speed that Bradley Wilson has. Getting right beside of Roos, but Roos puts a good block right there on Wilson. Wilson doing a little switchback right here. Wilson and Roos side by side in the fight for second place. Max Wolf running away. Oh, that's Roos in the wall. And little slide job fail. Well, no, slide job effective by Wilson. Gets his bumper straight into Roos. Able to get right there, but here comes Roos on the switchback coming out of turn 1. He's now onto the inside, and he's got all the speed heading into turn 3.
Oh, careful there.
Through the middle of the corner.
Welcome back,
there.
Joshua.
Sorry, Marco, I am back.
Welcome back.
Sim now. And Bradley Wilson now trying to keep up there in third. Parmalee going to try and run the bottom, and that inside line, Austin, admittedly not going to come in exactly how we think. The caution flag is going to refly. 4th time of the night that we will see a caution. The outside line showing its might, and Fernando Torres in the 12 getting turned around.
Yeah, Torres getting his engine blown. He's been having trouble, and oh, he just absolutely got turned. Bradley Wilson was there, but that was Kevin Kittleman who did the dirty work. So it knew, yeah, a lot of lag. He disappeared right there, so I think he disappeared and was collected. But if anyone wants some steaks, they're currently being cooked at Fernando Torres' pits. They're smoked to perfection, I gotta say. Chevy steaks. Oh, he actually hit the wall before he hit Kittleman. But yeah, Chevy steaks being served in the 12 pits on the infield.
Austin, let's say theoretically you went down to go get one of those steaks. How are you ordering it?
Medium rare.
Good, okay.
I'm not a savage. I
thought we were gonna have an issue in the commentary booth. We do not, thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm not a savage. I don't eat them well done. No. Anything above medium rare is just no.
Good. We will not have a fight in the commentary booth today. It might happen in the future between.
Sorry, I need to reopen my mic.
I thought of so many things, but
you know, I need to reopen my mic for a second, guys. Just to say that if it's not rare, it's not meat, in my opinion. So.
Oh, Marco! Wow. Well, you know, Marco is Italian. He does know about these things.
I think he knows a little bit more about espresso than we do, but I'm pretty sure the Texan and admittedly I'm from Florida, but you know, still in America, I think we know a tiny bit more.
We're from the South. We know our things about barbecue.
There we go. There we go.
And steak sauce.
Getting ready to come back in, and we're getting ready to go back to racing. Enough of the steak talk. Let's start talking about racing again. Wolf gonna dive into one for the 5th restart. Wilson on that bottom line. A tore up number 51, but it's still working down there on the bottom line. Roos. Trying to get up to the outside as he blocks off Dalladone. Look at the run from Roos on the outside. Gonna look for the lead on Max Wolf. Going for the crossover to the inside goes the 48.
Almost botched it right there on the outside line, but look at this slide jump up to the inside, way onto the outside. Max Wolf with the switchback now. Wolf in the lead, defending from Roos. You can see that dark outside line. Now everybody's been running it. Roos avoids the wall. Here comes Roos on the outside line, unable to get the slide jump done by Wolf. Roos now in the lead by a car length, and here comes Wilson trying to capitalize on that as well. But Wolf able to block him off right there. And Wolf needs to run that outside line, or else he's gonna be in threats of Wilson right behind him.
Diving back into one, we put 24 laps behind us. Go on to lap number 25. Take a look at Dan Parmalee in the 71, stuck in the middle. As down the inside, Redford gets loose, gonna make a little bit of contact, but they both save it as Redford trying to hold on now, losing a ton of spots. Down in the bottom of the racetrack, makes contact with Baird as the 36 goes on by. Down to P10 goes the 31 of Redford as they continue to fight towards the back. Cars sliding and slamming everywhere. Kittleman on the bottom. Navarro now as he gets some damage repaired. The caution flag will reply.
Caution is out, and that's a big crash in turn 3. I think there was a car sideways at one point. But here's Kev Copland. This happened here, and oh, he just went around on his own. So now we can breathe.
Yeah, very much so. We can breathe now, but won't be for too long. Once again, quickie yellows that we're gonna have here at Eldora, and already closing in on halfway done with this race, Austin, and I think the conversation is going to start to open up about what lanes these drivers can take out here on the track, because take a look, the entry of turn 1 and the entry of turn 3, wear in. It's starting to get incredibly slick. Now, the question is, are these drivers going to continue to run up there to try and run against the cushion, or are we going to see more drivers go down to the bottom where you can see all of that moist dirt down on the bottom?
That outside line's been beaten down so hard that it's just enticing to just keep running up there. But, you know, we're seeing drivers look down to the inside, but you know how this track is. That outside line's where you want to be, and no matter how long, that outside line's going to be that dominant line. You only should be running that bottom line when they are going to look for an overtake. But, you know, Max Wolf is now no longer in control of this restart, but he will be restarting on that outside line. We're going to see on how Roos is going to fare right now. Everybody bunch it up. Pace truck is in. Green flag is in the air. We're back to green flag racing here at Eldora.
41 laps to go as Roos dives it back into the corner, slams the wall on the outside. Wilson comes up to try and cover the spot on Wolf. Not going to work as Wolf goes back down to the bottom. Deladone splits the middle 3 wide. He goes by Leitner, trying to get by Butler as well. Leitner now going to slide up in front of Deladone. Done back to the middle, slamming into the 15 on the bottom of the racetrack. That's Neil Butler going by all of them as Max Wolf looks to go right on by Wilson.
Butler serving up slide jobs however you like it right there. But that little contact with Deladone able for Leitner to get ahead into 4th place. And Leitner charging up the field, and look at the 51 of Wilson pushing his way past Wolf, but he gets into the wall.
Slamming the wall again for the 51 as Wolf tries to get the power down, coming off of the corner on that middle line. Not going to work too well, but here comes the momentum from Bradley Wilson. He slams the wall. Deladone back to the bottom of the racetrack. Not going to get off the corner at all. He almost comes up, slams into the 31 of Mark Redford, able to hold the truck off of him. But as everybody running up on the outside, Deladone, Baird looked like Lucky Brown down there on the bottom as well, trying to experiment closer to that inside wall. Parmalee running the middle line. Wolf cannot get by Bradley Wilson as Wilson runs the wall. Wolf running the middle, looking for moisture.
Wilson is just riding that wall like it was a rail in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And that is a caution. Alessandro Deladone is around.
We were talking about how Deladone was trying to work the bottom line. It looks
that's Dan.
He got contact with Dan Parmalee going down into the corner. Alessandro did not have it saved, and it snaps around on him.
Oh, what an avoidance by Lucky Brown getting onto the brakes mid-corner. Something you usually do not see these trucks doing when there's a truck spinning. Let's run on board a Lucky Brown and just see on how Alessandro just comes right in front of him. He's him over rotate, gets onto the brakes. Avoidance. 10 out of 10 by Lucky Brown. Keep that truck going.
Well, this will put us over that halfway mark. 35 laps to go now here from Eldora. 6th caution of the day as Deladone brings it into the pit lane.
He's going to take that fast repair right there. I feel like he's got a little bit of damage, and, you know, he can use that fast repair. Might be feeling a little bit down on the straights as well. Yep, there it goes. The truck's just poofed lightly, and there we go. Back on track. Didn't lose a lap, unlike Andrew Navarro, who is 4 laps down. He's still in the race, but he is down by 4 laps. If any of our top three drivers, the 2 other drivers in the top 3, Wilson and Leitner, finish this race in the top 4, they will, whoever's finishing ahead will be our new championship leader.
Well, as Leitner currently sits 12 points behind Andrew Navarro, I believe he just needs to finish at least 12 positions ahead of him, and he is good for the points lead off of this round. But back to the green flag. Andrew Roos retakes it. Wolf gonna try and get by Bradley Wilson. How good is that outside line going to be as they work their way through turns 2? Still side by side, door to door goes Wolf and Wilson. Diving back into turn number 3 is Max Wolf. Wilson gonna slide up against the wall, but the run on the outside line might be too strong. Wolf goes for the slider. They make contact. Wilson into the wall. Wolf not able to complete the pass. Can he do it in 2?
He pinned him into the wall, and Wilson's front end looks like a cheese grater on strike. And Wilson still making contact with the wall. His car is absolutely beat up, but he's pushing that truck to its limits. Max Wolf with the slide job, able to hold off Wilson, but he keeps running that bottom line. And you can see Wilson's hands are all over his wheel right now. Caution is up right there, and I think Max Wolf might get a little bit of a shove in the back on the restart, because that is a big crash. Into the pit lane is Mark Tranter, and I believe this crash happened heading into turns 3 and 4. You see Mark on the inside of the track. Is this just him trying to go into the pits?
Oh, went right into the barrels.
Missed it by that much.
And this is not the easiest pit road to get into, because it essentially is just a opening in the inside wall, because obviously dirt late models, dirt sprint cars, really anything that runs on dirt isn't making live pit stops. So they don't really have a need to make it an easy pit road to get onto. It's mainly just to get off of the racetrack. And as of course Tranter was trying to do that a little bit too fast, slammed into those barrels. But inside 30 to go, 29 to be exact. Roos has been commanding this race ever since he got the lead, and he's been getting such great restarts, Austin. It's going to be tough for Wolf to be able to get around him. He's probably going to have to catch him and then pass him, because these restarts have been all going to Andrew Roos since he took the green. They work across the front straightaway. The lights will go back out on the official iRacing pace truck, and we will look to go back to racing. Around the outside goes the 12 of Fernando Torres. He's going to look to grab a wave around, and he is going to go from from 1 lap down onto the lead lap again. So good for Fernando Torres. He'll be restarting in 18th. But restarting at the front of the field in the lead, it is Andrew Roos in the number 48. How good of a start is he going to get here? Right as base truck pulls off. He hits the loud pedal. Time to go back to racing. Still side by side. It's Wolf and Wilson. Wilson this time on the bottom as the entire track starting to slick over in one. Wilson slides up in front of Wolf. The crossover from the 18 as he looks for second.
Max Wolf saw that one coming. And, everybody goes into the wall except for Max Wolf. And now, Wilson and Leitner side by side, nose to tail. Yellow flag is out. We got a car route. That is Sam Fitzpatrick, or as we know him in the commentary booth, Flips Patrick. But it looks like he just had a spin right here, and just got his nose cut off by the 42 of Andrew Navarro, who is still trying to make his way up through the field, but he's stuck at the back every time these caution comes out. Less time for him to make a move, and that is just over aggression on Andrew Navarro. I'm surprised I didn't see Navarro's car around. I only focused on Sam's. Heading to turn 3, and boom, Navarro out of nowhere. Doesn't have the ring to it as a few other wrestlers, but definitely not an incident you want to see.
And that'll put us back under the yellow flag, and we've been getting some good action under these green flag laps. Austin, obviously, no long green flag runs, but it's going to continue to get increasingly tough for Andrew Roos to keep this lead if we do get some long green flag runs, because he has been the best on the short run on these restarts. But if Max Wolf gets into a long green flag run, no doubt in my mind, he's then going to be the truck to beat.
Indeed. And Roos and Wolf are making a great statement right now to all these drivers that don't count them out through the championship. They not be up there in the points, but they're certainly up there, and they're showing them their legs right now as we're back to green. Roos takes to the green flag. Wolf onto the outside. Then it's Wilson on the inside with Leitner on the outside of Wilson. Oh, look at that switchback. Gets the car over there and crosses over the nose on Norbert Leitner, who's involved in that incident early on with Andrew Navarro. That put him 4 laps down. Alexander Rogabuck's out of this race, so Navarro is in 20th now.
Leitner moves down to the bottom, and you can see him getting a little bit loose coming off of turn.
We got a car around.
And around goes Redford in the 31. Caution flag will refly. As Redford spins in turn 3, Sam Fitzpatrick slams on the brakes to avoid slamming into him. He does so, gets spun around in the process, but he'll get back going straight. There's the spin from Redford. Did anybody make contact with him? Oh, goodness, no! But Sam Fitzpatrick barely gets on the brakes in time.
I think he just barely tapped it. The one who turned him, though, was the main cause of that. It just looks like Redford was sitting on the inside just a little bit loose. That tap from Sam, though, was a bit aggressive. A bit big, but yeah, that was a second time we saw that happen right there. Let's get on board and just see on how all that formed out. This is Sam Fitzpatrick's view. You can see everybody separate. You know, if there's one way to avoid a wreck, it's to avoid it while swinging around. You'll be losing track position, but hey, you'll be keeping your truck clean. And this is what happened. That was just a big slide job. Well, a big slap to the side. Was that Neil Butler who did that? I think that was the 15 to Neil Butler. It was. Neil put his truck right there, and Redford wanted to go down.
Back under caution, 9th time.
What does Bradley Wilson do?
He's giving a bit of a shove to the back bumper of your race leader. I think Bradley Wilson wants to get back going because he wants to get this lead. And you can see every truck pretty much in the field now. I think the only clean one, Max Wolf has a little bit of damage to the back. But never mind. The pace truck, the only clean truck on the track right now. And it goes back into the pit lane. We're back racing here from Eldora. Roos takes the lead again with 18 to go. Still side by side for second. Wilson goes up to cover the spot. Wolf clear on the bottom. Does the same thing he's done on the last couple of restarts. Goes back to the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Parking lot in turn 2 as multiple trucks slam into each other. We stay great.
Leitner's around.
Leitner spins around. Makes contact with, I believe that was Lockie Brown in the 24.
Norbert Leitner championship hopeful is turned around right there. Bradley Wilson was caught up in that with Leitner. So we got 2 incidents right here. One was the parking lot. Here's Kevin Kittleman, who gets turned around by one of the carrier. Oh, that Dane Baird got into him, which caused this massive parking lot. Engine of Farm gets collected in there as well. And then there is the incident with Norbert Leitner. See Leitner on the outside. Wilson getting caught up in the wall. Leitner still on the outside. Wilson hit the wall and Leitner straight into him, and then just gets collected up there as well. So big strike by Leitner from a Bradley Wilson mistake. The 24 of Lockie Brown unable to avoid that hit right there. Let's ride on board of Lockie to see what has happened. You can see Leitner coming down the track. Lockie, oh no! And steaks currently being served down in the 24 pits. More Chevy steaks being served. I'm surprised Norbert Leitner does not have engine damage from that. I'm surprised Bradley Wilson still has a running car.
That is definitely surprising me as well, because that 51 is very banged up on every single side, front and back, and the left side, right side. All completely banged up. I think the cleanest part of that truck right now is the roof, because he has not gone over onto his lid.
He'll find a way.
He will find a way. That's exactly why I said so far. As the pace truck comes back down into the pit lane, we're back underway. 14 laps to go off the heels of that 10th caution. Wolf goes down to try and cover Wilson. Wilson goes to the inside to look for that second spot. One truck getting up to speed on the bottom. Let's see if it's an issue for the leaders as everybody races back into 3. It's still Andrew Roos leading the way. Wolf still running the bottom line. Is that going
Wilson's
to
in the wall?
As more trucks go slamming into the wall.
Wilson hard into the wall, falls down to 7th place. Norbert Leitner gets up there. And now Leitner is leading the championship just ahead of Wilson as they fight for 6th place. As this dirt being splayed everywhere right now as there are trucks inside, outside, inside, outside. You got trucks on the inside. You got trucks to the outside. And here you are stuck in the middle with you. And that's what Norbert Leitner's is. They're 3 wide through the corners right here. And they're still going on. It's Roos and Wolf leading on by a second as everybody else is just trying to keep on the track. 11 laps remaining here at Eldora.
Back into the corner. Some drivers going 3 wide. 3 wide. Top line goes Neil Butler. He goes for third and he'll take the spot. Smith still working on his back bumper. The yellow flag is going to refly. Truck spinning in the background. Shane Dunn around. Lewandowski possibly involved as we go under caution for the 11th time tonight. Going into 10 laps to go. Here's the replay.
Oh, that's a 49 getting a little bit loose, getting collected by Sam Fitzpatrick right there. And Lewandowski was having a bit of a tail slapper. Oh, Sam. Oh, unlucky right there. That's the, I don't know who was the one being shot down the track right there. It looks like Shane Dunn. Here's Andrew Roos, our leader, probably the one who was able to stay clean out of all that. Look at the lead he was able to get in just a small amount of laps. And as they come across that line, less than 10 laps remaining. It was Shane Dunn. Oh, Shane Dunn was the one that was shot down the track. So less than 10 laps, Josh. How we feeling?
This is going to be just a real test now of everybody at the front of this field, because it's going to be one of the shortest runs that we've had, and if we get any more cautions, we could go back into overtime. This is just going to be stressful for all these drivers now because we have such a late race restart.
Pace car is out, and here we go. Green, green, green. 8 laps to go. Are we going to see another caution fly? Hopefully not, as we are up here and racing right now for a championship for these drivers. Leitner currently leading that championship, and he's looking for more cars to get up ahead right now, as Andrew Roos and Wolf side by side for the lead of this race, but Roos able to hold it around to the outside. And we ride on board of Neil Butler, who is sitting in 4th place right there. We got a big crash! Dan Parmalay's around. And, oh, Bradley Wilson was involved in that. Victor Lewandowski involved. Massive, massive crash. And I believe Marco Bombonera has joined me in the commentary box again. And, oh, Wilson collected Dan Parmalay, who is coming up the track and straight into him. And Wilson, unfortunately, turned Marco. And this closing amount of laps, how treacherous is caution like this?
I mean, it's clear that every time we go closer and closer to the end of the race, drivers know they have less and less laps to make a difference, as Bradley Wilson is in the pits, and I think his engine, someone's engine is gone, not his engine. So drivers know they have a little time to make moves, and that's why they are getting a bit more desperate. These very short runs we were having, and also, of course, when you spin, when you lose the car right here, you know that if your instincts tell you to hit the brakes, no, but this doesn't really work very nicely on dirt, and it's a mistake we all make, even the expert drivers in real life. You slam on the brakes, you spin yourself, and that's how a single car spin can become a massive car, like 5-car pileup. So 3 laps to go. So
first time ever in ARL Truck Series history, green,
white, checker.
White,
yes,
checkered.
I don't know how many attempts we get. I would hope 3. But yeah.
I hope just 1. But knowing my luck, probably not. Lights are off on the pace car. Green, white, checkered. Natural green, white, checkered, I must say, in effect. And it's green, green, green. Roos takes a big jump ahead right now as they come across the line. 2 laps remaining. The fight for second, Wolf and Smith following up behind with Leitner, Butler, and Redford in our top 6 right there. Car up into the wall. It's the 15 of Butler, trying to get a good run on Wolf right now, as it's Roos holding that outside line, kicking the back end out once more. You got 4 more quarters, buddy. White flag in the air, and it's the wannabe SRT driver looking for one absolute beautiful win right now. It's Wolf right behind, and he's pulling away. Half a second to go, and it is going to be checkered flag by nearly a second. Andrew Roos is going to take the victory with Max Wolf and Neil Butler in 15th. We got cars spinning across the line right now. Neil Leitner, your new championship leader, comes home in 5th, followed by Redford, Baird, Kittleman, Dunn, and Fitzpatrick, who has collected a lot of cars after caution, somehow finished up the top 10. Bradley Wilson finishes in 11th, followed by Dan Parmalee, Kevin Copland in 12th place. But man, oh man, what a race. Here are your full-on results. Andrew Roos takes the win by half a second, followed by Max Wolf, Neil Butler, Fraser Smith, Norbert Leitner, Mark Redford, Dane Baird, Kevin Kittleman, and Shane Dunn. They're followed by Sam Fitzpatrick, Dan Parmalee, Bradley Wilson, Kevin Copland, Victor Lewandowski, Mark Tranter. Andrew Navarro finishes in 16th place after being 3 laps down. And, you know, I feel like that might save him the championship lead, but I think it's gone down to 1 point. They're followed by Jason Nethery, Fernando Torres, Lucky Brown, Alessandro Dowdonna, and Alex Roggenbuck in 21st. Josh, after that crazy race, I believe you're back. What's coming up next with these guys?
Well, we are going to go into the post-race show and see if we can grab a handful of the drivers from this race and give them some time here on the broadcast. But just taking a look at the points, it was a pretty stout 5th place finish for Norbert Leitner. That is going to earn him 32 points. And then going back into 15th for Andrew Navarro, that's going to earn him 22. So 10 points made up for Norbert Leitner, with Andrew Navarro gonna be 2 points ahead now of Norbert Leitner in the point standings. So the gap is closing, but talk about a good win for Andrew Roos, being able to take home the win here from Virtual Eldora. And we will enter the post-race show. Still waiting on your race winner, Andrew Roos, to join in. But for now, we are going to begin the post-race show, I believe, with Max Wolf here to start out to the interview. 2nd place finisher here from Virtual Eldora Speedway. And we'll bring Max into the commentary booth with us now. Max, it was a hard-fought battle. You started on the pole, took the win in heat number 1, but could not get it done there in the feature. What else did you need from that number 18 truck tonight to get that win?
The truck was good. It was just the driver. In the opening stage of the race, I lacked confidence to run it against the wall. And I think that cost me P1. And then later on in the race, Andrew was just too quick to catch him.
And going through that race, we saw that track start to change. You were one of the few drivers to really use that bottom line. What did you see down there that enticed you to go down there with everybody else running up by the wall on the cushion?
Yeah, throughout practice, I've been practicing the bottom line. I felt really comfortable through there, so I had the choice to go up high or go to the bottom, and if I was running the top line with anybody else, I would probably run their speed. So I thought, let's try something different and see if it works, but it wasn't quite enough, unfortunately.
Well, we're going to be moving on in the schedule. Up next, it is very different from Eldora, as we will go racing from Virtual Kansas. 2nd intermediate on the calendar. What can you do in round number 7 to continue the positive momentum here with the 2nd place and etch your way closer to that points lead and maybe make your way further into the top 5?
Yeah, it just turned in a lot of practice. I think that's what I gotta do. Like the mid-speed ovals or mid-distance ovals aren't my greatest tracks. I prefer short tracks, but yeah, just put in the laps and try as hard as we can.
Thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary booth, Max, and congratulations on your second place.
Thank you very much.
Good to hear from Evo SR's Max Wolf here in the post-race show. We'll transition over to your third place finisher. It is Neil Butler standing by with Austin Knight.
Neil, how was that race and racing in traffic up there at the top of the field? Absolutely crazy race for you.
Oh man, that was the most fun I've had on iRacing in a long time.
It certainly looked like a lot of fun, a little bit physical, more physical than a lot of other racing we like to see up here. But hey, if you put a smile on your face, it absolutely puts a smile on our face.
I think we're going to need some new doors after that. That was a lot of wall riding, a lot of door riding. But yeah, it was good fun, man.
I think
Hella
more
race.
than just doors.
Yeah, the full works. But no, that was so much fun.
Well, the wildcard event certainly paid out in your advance. Well, certainly paid out for you with a third place overall finish. Neil, what a race. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Well, thanks to my teammate for not taking me out in the final green, white, checkered.
That's always
the
good.
main thing. Big shout out to all the ARL admins for putting on this event. And yeah, cheers to you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Neil. You have yourself a great afternoon. And over to Josh, who I believe is standing by with Dane.
And we are standing by the AM class winner from Eldora, Dane Baird, a 7th place finish overall. You talked in the pre-race how you were going to need a lot of luck to walk away with a good finish, and I think it was safe to say luck was on your side, and you got away with not only a top 10 overall, but the AM class win.
Yeah, that was actually a really fun race. Despite quite a few caution periods, when we were green, it was so much fun. I'm really glad that we did put a dirt race on the schedule. It was an absolute blast to drive that for 70 laps. The heat was also a lot of fun, but I got so lucky on the last few laps. I was involved in the second to last wreck, I believe. Went right to the back. And then, just gained on the next caution. And then final 2 laps, I think I gained 4 places. Overtook 2 other AM drivers, and there was an absolute insane finish to the race.
And as we close in to the end of the season, looking at the AM points, you came into today 4th place, a considerable margin behind the leader, Kevin Kittleman, and about 11 back from Shane Dunn, but 4 back from Kev Copeland, and Copeland finished down in P13. Getting up into the top 3 of the point standings. What's that going to do for your confidence heading into the last 2 races of the season?
Yeah, the last, I would say, 3 rounds have really not gone to plan. Martinsville, Charlotte, and Auto Club. For various reasons, mostly my fault. Just have not had good rounds at all. So having a pretty good round to take the AM win, I'll take that. And 7th overall, yeah, that's a pretty good result. It will definitely give me a bit of confidence heading into the last couple of rounds. Kansas and Phoenix are 2 of my favorite circuits, so that's also going to help, I think, heading into the last 2 rounds. I was originally going for the win in the championship, because why not? But I think top 3 is my main aim now, and anything else is just a bonus.
You talked about your confidence going into Kansas and Phoenix being 2 of your favorite racetracks. Can you continue the steadiness of these results and maybe try and get by Shane Dunn, get a top 2, a runner-up spot in the point standings of the first ever season of this series?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be my aim. He now has a target on his back for me. Not to try and take him out, of course, to try and get past him. But yeah, it's still a lot of laps to go. I've got to just try to be a bit more consistent in the races. The oval races that we've done so far, it's not really gone too well for me. The start of the season was fine, but it was Daytona, which isn't really a regular oval, and Watkins Glen. Since then, it's gone very steeply downhill. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, I'm pretty confident at Kansas and Phoenix as well, one of my favorite circuits. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, getting past Dunn is definitely the next aim for me, and if I can get Kittleman as well by the end, then obviously that's a bonus. But yeah, just keep trying to go forward.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the post-race show, Dane. Congratulations on that AM class win and that 7th place finish overall.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Also, just like to quickly thank the EvoSR guys. I mean, I know that Max won the race, or did he win the race, or finish second in the race? He did a fantastic job up at front. And yeah, the rest of the Kairos and EvoSR guys for helping us out through the race. It was just a lot of fun in the voice chat.
Thank you very much for joining us, and once again, congratulations on that 7th place overall in the AM class win.
Thanks. Hope to see you next week.
Good to hear from Dane Baird post-race. We'll now go over to your 4th place finisher on the day, Frazier Smith, who will be standing by with Austin Knight.
Hey, Frazier, how's that race going for you? Up 5 spots where you qualified P4 overall. You gotta be proud of that one.
I'm pretty happy. Do you know, I think I was just chatting to the guys, and I'm pretty sure that is only my 2nd ever dirt race. So
looking at your profile on iRacing, it is your 2nd ever dirt race.
There we go. I'll take it.
You should run dirt more often. You seem natural out there.
I think I was lucky. I was with Neil, my teammate, and we were both like together the whole race. So if he was on the outside, he could tell me what it was like, and obviously the other way around. That worked, but I'm just happy I didn't crash.
Hey, not crashing is always a success. Finishing up in the top 5 in your 2nd ever dirt race, even bigger success. How was it running in the pack and behind your teammate with dirt flying all over the place and trying to find out the right line to run in during the race?
It was hard. We both knew. I mean, it was all obviously a bit of trial and error. So we both thought that the quickest place is as near as you can be to the wall, which obviously is easier said than done. So I hit the wall a lot. Then whenever I tried to go a bit lower, the people around me just seemed to be able to go straight around the outside. So I was just learning on the job.
Well, hey, for learning on the job, you certainly know how to do it. Before I let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, just you guys, Apex Racing League, my teammate Neil today, big help, and everyone who was racing, because it was mega.
All right, thank you, Frazier. Over to Josh with some closing thoughts.
Well, I definitely think this race is going to be remembered for the rest of the season here in the Apex Racing League Truck Series, and we now will transition over back to the Asphalt Ovals, Kansas Speedway. That we'll be going to in 1 week's time, and then we'll be capping off the season at Virtual Phoenix Raceway. So that is going to be 2 very different racetracks and 2 amazing races that you can only catch live here on Apex Racing TV. Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. UTC on Apex Racing TV. Once again, make sure you follow us wherever you can find us at Apex Racing TV. You can also give a subscribe here on YouTube. Click the notification bell to be notified whenever we go live for another broadcast. From Marco Barbanera, Austin Knight, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in to this race from Virtual Eldora, and we'll see you in 1 week's time from Virtual Kansas as the Apex Racing League Truck Series season continues.